Hi everyone, and thanks for showing up to this quick strength workout. The entirety of today's workout is going to be on our back, so let's lay down on the ground with our knees bent, soles of the feet on the floor for our first exercise, bridges with marches. So, soles of the feet on the ground, roughly hip distance apart. Our face is looking straight up at the ceiling. I'd love for you to avoid looking left or right during this posture. And we will slowly curl our hips up towards the ceiling, stopping once we hit the shoulder blades. So straight line from our chest to our knees here. We're squeezing the glutes, squeezing the core, and imagine you're gently squeezing a small balloon between your inner thighs. From here, we will shift our weight into one foot, trying to keep our pelvis as level as we can as we extend the opposite foot. And placing that foot on the ground, shifting our weight into the other foot, keeping the pelvis level as we extend the opposite foot into the air straight in front of us, and placing the foot back on the ground, slowly placing the hips back on the ground. And again, we're pressing into the feet to lift the hips, squeezing the glutes, squeezing the core. Our nose is pointing straight up at the ceiling. We are not looking left or right. If you need to look, then just pause the video. And shifting our weight into one foot, keeping the pelvis level as we extend the other leg out, placing that foot on the ground and shifting our weight into the opposite foot as we extend the opposite foot out. And placing our hips back on the ground. We're going to do that one more time, pressing the feet into the ground to lift the hips, squeezing the glutes, squeezing the core. Slowly, we're shifting our weight into one of our feet, keeping the pelvis very level as we extend the opposite leg out. Thighs are parallel, placing that extended foot back on the ground, shifting our weight into that foot, and then the other foot extends out in front of us, and placing that foot on the ground and lowering the hips down. Beautiful. Our next exercise is toes up glutes bridge, targeting the hamstrings. So staying in this bridge posture, we're going to walk our feet out, keeping our heels in line, roughly hip distance apart, and our heels are on the floor with the toes pointed up at the ceiling. From here, we're looking straight up at the ceiling, not looking left or right, and we're going to press into our heels to lift the hips up, squeeze the glutes, squeeze the core, squeeze that imaginary beach ball between your thighs. And slowly lowering our hips back on the ground. If you want more of a challenge, you'll just walk your heels out a little more, creating a longer bridge. And lifting the hips up, squeezing the glutes, thinking a straight line from your knees to your sternum. And placing the hips on the ground. We're going to do that one more time. Lifting the hips up, maybe isometrically dragging your heels back towards your glutes without moving them at all. Feeling the hamstrings light up here. And lowering the hips down. Awesome. From here, keeping our head and shoulders relaxing on the floor, we're going to extend both feet into the air and point our toes out in opposite direction, heels touching. From here, we're going to slowly lower our legs to roughly a 45 degrees, taking care that our lower back is not arching. We want to keep our pelvis really still and stable here. And then from here, widening the legs out, and we're going to begin to crisscross the legs, alternating crossing our thighs over one another, creating big, wide semicircles with our legs as we cross our thighs over one another, sort of scissoring them. Keeping the core really strong here. And then bringing the legs back together, raising them up into the air and bending the knees to place them down. Beautiful. Good job. You did great work today. Be proud of yourself. If you want to, and if you have the time, you could do this entire sequence again for another set, or you could be done for today.